Okay, so today I'm gonna do a video about teaching your horse to drop his head into either collection or a pleasure headset where their head's down. And with their head down, it's not all about having their head down. You can't just have the horse have their head down and slow down a million miles an hour to walk. They have to be staying at the speed you want them still with their head down. Now obviously, if you're in Western Pleasure, you want it to be a nice jog, but if you're asking for a collection and you're English, you want them to keep the same speed and not slow down. So, okay, let's start. I'm just gonna hop on here real quick. Good boy. Okay, so, softening your horse. You can do bending, side to side. I have a video on that already. You can go watch that. And vertical. So you just have to touch the reins. As soon as he gives, so do you. So you just hold it there. Wait for it. No. There. You wait till they stand still. Ooh. Alright, now. So, right here, we're going to ask for collection. You just pick up a little bit for him. Now, if you want to start with an elevation bit, with a little elevation on it, leverage, that will help. This is a leverage bit too. He's just learning. I've only had him working with this kind of thing for 2 days now. So he's still green to it, but he's pretty good about it. Once you get it down good, like him, you should just be able to touch it a little bit and then they bring it down. A little bit. You always want to start really soft and touching it, because as soon as you ask for it, if you yank on their mouth and pull really hard, you'll never be able to ask for that softness because you already asked with the hardest thing. So if you ask with softness first and they don't give, you can add a little bit more pressure till they give. So it's like this. This is a horse. This is your hand. They're here with the head up, and you want it down here. So you bring your hand, so you can start by bringing it to your hip, or your knee, so it's more of a side, because straight up it's a little harder, especially with a snaffle. But you can start out to the side, and then just go like this, walk a little bit. It's easier up there, and then drop that. You could even the slightest bit when they're learning is good. So, you always want soft, especially if you want it to be a nice set where you don't always have to hold them into it. If you want them to just be able to carry themselves there, you have to start soft. So, snaffles, when you start, easier if you start out on your knees. If you have a leverage bit, any sort of shank on it, you can do it either way. But a lot of horses with the shanks on them, if you do it like this way with the shanks on it, they'll start to back up because it pulls straight back. But if with the leverage, if you do it this way, that gives you the leverage. So any horse can do this. He's gonna be a hunter under saddle / Western Pleasure horse. So we're trying to make sure he can go on a nice loose rein softly without having to be held there, obviously. So yeah. If you have any questions, just comment below and I can hopefully answer them. Alright, bye. And one more thing. When you're asking, start teaching it, you can ask, and as soon as they give,
Then take away the pressure completely and give them a loose rein for a few steps, and then ask again. And then once they give, release again, and take a few steps. And eventually you can do ask, and then they'll give. And then if they bring their head up, then ask again, and then they give, and then if they bring their head up again, then you ask. And you repeat this, and eventually, like him, they'll realize that, and as long as you're consistent, you always have to be consistent and have the exact same cue for it, because if one day you come out and ask with it by picking up your reins, and then the next day you come out and do it by doing some sort of, I don't know, something different, they're not going to know, or when you try to ask for it, they're not going to know what you're trying to ask them for, and they'll be confused. So you want to be as consistent as much as possible, and eventually they'll learn that they're supposed to keep their head down. Now, a lot of horses that, especially with certain breeds, like some horses that just naturally carry their heads higher than other horses, like Morgan's, for example, he's a Morgan. So this took a little work, but consistency and always asking softly is your best friend.